Darlings have been selecting suitable blocks for their blocking their capulines, and Fiona's very kindly lent me this amazing scarlet capuline to go onto this block with that brim, with that crown. There's your collar. She's put that onto the brim, and we've measured the head. We know everything's going to fit. Step number 1, we're going to do the brim first, and we're going to just spray this until it's damp, but probably not really dripping. It's not the same as felt where you have to put it in a plastic bag and steam it all up. This is a whole lot lower energy consumption. And we're going to pop this over, and you can see that we can easily fit there. There's not much crown space though, so we're going to be aware, and we're going to hoist this up a little bit so that we can maximise the amount of straw available for the crown. Now remember last time, did anyone extend the height? Yes.
Sarah?
Sunday did. Sunday made hers a bit higher, and we gave her some esparterie to make that go higher. So we can use 20/20, or if you're really nice to me, I'll give you a little bit of esparterie to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and pinch a little bit, because this goes off the edge, so that's just going to be an off-cut. But we're going to try and pinch a little bit of this off the brim to bring it up into the crown. So as you can see, remember I mentioned before that it's on the bias all the way round. Oopsie-toopsie, the cord's coming in under the collar at the front, which is not part of the life plan.
It might be because there's a divot in that collar.
Yeah, but that's okay. We've fixed it now, so that's all good. And you can see there's just that, because of that give and take with it on the bias, we're able to do that, and we've got that much for the crown, which is a lot better look. Now, as you will remember, we're going to cut it level with the top of the collar so that we've got that little overlap between the crown and the brim for when you assemble it. Now, as much as we can, we try and get this sitting nice and evenly. And some of you might be thinking, oh, why is she using a fingernail and not the door stopper? It's because I haven't got the door stopper here. But if I did, I'd just use the door stopper to shove that cord down around the brim. Now, you know me with pins. Thank you, Lolly, you're a diamond. So this is how you would use that door stopper, just to get that cord sitting nice and low on the collar. And you can see on this weave there are kind of concentric circles. If you look at those and just make sure that it's sitting fairly evenly, that it's nicely spaced out on the block, it's almost blocking itself. Now, sometimes I'll just do a little twist here and put a bit of elastic to stop that sliding down, because you really need to be in control of that at this stage. Okay, this is the reason we wear closed-toed shoes while we're blocking, because you can see down there, if these came landing on my feet and I just had my little strappy sandals on, you might find that you got a quick trip to the outpatients for a busted toe. Now, I'm shoving that pin in low and flat into the collar at the, well, looks like it. We can nominate that as the back or the front. And then we're going to bring the stand over the edge of the block, use my tummy to do half the job. So I've got 2 hands free. I can be like Kate Winslet on the front of the ship. And just drop the little pin in there. So back, front, and now we go side to side. Now these tables may or may not cooperate, but you can raise and lower them. So if you think that's a bit too high, then you can adjust the height of the table. So I'm not even bending over this. It's really comfortable. Now that I've got those 4 in, I can pop a pin under there. Now if I wanted to, I could do a really nice turned edge, and it's the same thing. It's the principle of pitching tents. If you look at this, you can see that is angled away from the image area, so that you can't move the. You can if your pin drops out, but you can't technically. If the pin stays in, you actually can't move the straw. Now, believe it or not, this straw will shrink a tiny bit when it's drying, and that will help it smooth out onto your block. But at this stage, what you're doing is you're sliding the hands down there, and you're smoothing it out. You're not torturing it, you're not tormenting it, you're not punishing it, and then you're just shoving the the pin in with your thimble, and I'll just give you a little close demo of that because it's a bit alien when you do it for the first time. You pop the pin into the thing and you angle it back. Now I'm pushing it with the thimble, and I'm pushing my thimble with my fingers. So I'm holding the pin with these two and I'm pushing with that from behind. Now some people I've seen go like that, but that's all a bit wild and not in control. That is in control, and then you can push it forward like that. So that's
I've got that on the video, sorry.
very good. So if anybody needs to, they can do it. Now we've done north, south, east and west in the top. We've done north and south and east in the bottom, and we're just going to keep on going. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're going to go 16, and then we're going to go 32, and by then we should have them around about a thumb's distance apart. So you keep on going till it's nice and close. Now there's one other thing which I will show you, but use it judiciously. I don't think many people will need it for this. But if I want to, I've got to just make sure that the straw is nice and tight on the block and sitting nice and smooth. If it's a bit, if it's a bit like this, it's not going to be really blocked. It's not blocked until it's sitting on the thing. But there's a nice little trick that you can do, and I'm going to just flip the whole thing upside down and show you in detail, Fiona. So if I was to want to tighten this up, I could drop the pin in at this angle, touch the wood, and then use that to lever the straw back. And then you've tightened it up. You only need to use that if it's bulging or puckering or not sitting quite flat, but it's a handy thing to know how to do if you want to extract a little bit of extra tightness out of the straw. Now, as much as possible, I want you in the practice of using your thimble. If you find that your wood is really hard, which some of them are, you can use your hammer. Hold it here by this thing. It's called a handle for a reason. If I see you holding it up here, I'll have to come over and give you a little smack. This is where you hold it, and then the weight of the head of the hammer does the work, not your muscles up your arm. And to do that then, same old thing, just position your pin and then just go tap, 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 tap. Please, please, you don't know your own strength when you're using the hammer. Don't push it in too hard because otherwise it's too difficult to get out. Technically, you should be able to take the pins out, but they shouldn't fall out by themselves. That's the main principle. Once you've got the brim blocked, you can then cut level or just below the level of the headline, and the remainder can go on the crown. If need be, we can extend the height of the crown if you want the crown to be taller using your bias cut 2020, and we can talk about that once the blocking's done. If you can do that really quickly tonight, we'll activate the dryer and we can get everything dry, and then you've got stuff to do if we go into home isolation. Thank you very much.